Welcome to Business Beyond Borders, the go-to podcast for CPA firms seeking transformative insights. I'm your host, Laurence Whittam, and with each episode we'll uncover key insights, best practices, and invaluable resources tailored for CPAs. From trending strategies to diving deep into outsourcing and offshoring, our experts will help in all areas of your business. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Business Beyond Borders. It's your host Laurence Whittam here today, and I've got a great guest, Barry Labov, who is going to help us understand a little bit about how we can actually improve our profession internally, right? In terms of marketing, he's a marketing expert. He's worked with Fortune 500. He's worked with accounting firms most of all. And he understands that we need to actually celebrate more of the wins that we have internally. And also this will help from your business development perspective by showcasing who you are and put you above the rest as well. But when we're talking about this, we're going to dig into a little bit about how a firm can really showcase what they're doing to not just help with that business development, but really help attract new talent to our profession and also put your firm above the rest so that people want to come to you rather than going to a different firm in your region or area. So Barry, I would love for you to give a quick intro about yourself and really appreciate you coming on to share a bit of this knowledge that you have.
Lawrence, thank you. It's an honor. I love your podcast. I think what you're doing is great. I love your passion for the industry. I love it. So my background is I have run my company for 45 years. We work with, as you mentioned, some Fortune 500 companies, some of the largest companies in the world, and some small concerns as well. That includes law firms, that includes CPA firms, et cetera. So I'm going to share a few things I've learned today with you and the audience. We have a book coming out called The Power of Differentiation. Its subtitle is Win Hearts, Minds, and Market Share. And that's what it's really all about. So I'll share a few of my insights today. And Lawrence, I'm telling you, I think we should have a good time.
Yeah, agreed, Barry. So let's start off. Can you give maybe, I know that you're working with some firms right now, right? So when it comes to the accounting firms, like what are the typical things that you work on with them? Like what does that journey sort of look like when you go in there?
I'm working with one right now. We're going to do a celebration tomorrow with their entire staff. The first time in their 40 plus year history they've ever done anything like that. So I'll share a little bit of our journey. This firm is a very high quality, smaller firm, maybe 40 people, 50 people. They go up against the big eights. They are fighting every day, tooth and nail in that realm. One thing that they're really dealing with, and this is music to your ears because you hear it all the time, they're fighting with staffing. They're fighting with a bit of morale issues. They're fighting with trying to get young people to come in and actually want to do some of this tedious, difficult, long hours type of work. So what we did is we talked to their clients and we asked them, what does this company do? Why do you work with these people? Why have you been with this company for decades? Because if you ask the accounting firm, they would just say, look, we do a good job. We're nice people. We're honest. But we learned a lot of things from their clientele. So we listened to them. We also talked with every single employee in the company to learn what they don't like, but also just as important, what do they not want to change? What is so important to them? Because one of the problems is if you're a small firm and you're entrepreneurial, you're willing to change everything. I'll change it all. And it sounds like I'm a great leader. No, you could be a very foolish leader because you might change the one major thing that your employees love about you. And we found the one major thing that everybody loved about them. And then what we looked at after that point was we really did a deep dive into their procedures and their processes and what we would call their experience. What is the experience they deliver to their clients? And they had not thought about it. It's just, well, it's us being us. Well, no, they actually have an experience. So we went through all that. We then came up with some conclusions and learnings. Tomorrow, we're going to celebrate those. We're also going to have some surprise guests at that meeting. And the surprise guests, Laurence, are some of their satisfied clients who are going to come in and bring tears to the eyes of their employees as they say, hey, here's why I love you guys. This is what you do. So that's how we walk through all of this. It took us 6 to 8 weeks to do this. That's what's normal for an accounting firm, a law firm. But what happens so often, and I'll turn it back to you in a moment, is the accounting firms are so close to what they do, they don't see what makes them unique. And that's what I really try to help them with.
Cool. And agree. I mean, it's the impact, right, that they're making. And I think that, again, showcasing that impact is absolutely enormous for especially maybe the partners know, and they see that, and they're the ones that are interfacing with the clients. So some of them see it, but then it's also so important to pass that down to the team members that have also worked on those projects as well, and been a staple and a part of that, whether they're just doing the accounting, whether they're doing the auditing, the tax work, whatever. But again, those are the elements that it makes a huge deal in the clients' lives in a lot of cases. And the clients don't understand what's going on in the background in a lot of cases. So being able to showcase that across the firm is enormous, right? And that speaks wonders to future clients and prospects down the line as well, but also employees, because they get to see what they really get out of the firm, I would assume.
What you said is tremendous. What's really interesting with the accounting firms I've worked with is the partners are very hardworking, their heads are down, and they're getting the work done. And their job is get the work done. And one of the partners said this to us, then once you're done, recover for a few minutes and then jump into the next one. And what we have to realize is the partners, yes, they get it and they're okay with it. But the younger members of the firm, they're going, I don't want to work that hard. I don't want to go through this. And another thing that's really important for your audience, if those partners do not communicate, and that's very common in accounting firms because, you're just dealing with numbers. We got to get work done. Come on, go, go, go. If they do not communicate what they're doing and why, what happens is we call that the void. There is a void of communication. And Laurence, when there's a void of communication, it is filled with negativity.
Yeah.
So the employees are working hard, the partner's pushing. They get done. The partner goes into another meeting, gets back, and they're working on something else. And the employees go, well, I noticed they didn't mention how it went. I bet it went badly. I bet we could be in trouble here. I bet no, that's true. But since the partner didn't stop and say, no, wait a minute, let's let people know what they did well. Let's let people know how they help some of these clients of ours so they feel good. So they go, you know what? I actually am making a difference. I actually have some significance. So that's what's really important. I'll throw one thing because you got me excited about this. One thing, and I think this applies to many of your firms, and we found this with this recent firm, the accounting partners or the partners of that accounting firm were very high integrity people, hardworking. When we talked to the employees, we said, okay, why do you work here? And they said, well, because this place is high integrity. They're honest. I know that whatever I am doing is truthful. It's right. I know they're not taking advantage of the clients. So I shared this with the partners and they just looked at me and said, well, so what? Who cares? And we go, your employees care. They go, yeah, but isn't that how everybody is? And the answer is no, everybody isn't that way. And for this accounting firm, they need to stop, and they'll do this tomorrow at the celebration. They need to stop and say, you know what, isn't it great to know we are all taking care of our clients together as a team, and we're doing it honestly, and we're doing things that we believe are best for the client. And let's celebrate that because not everybody does that. Let's celebrate. Let's realize we are helping our clients. And if anything, I learned this too, our clients want more of us. They want us to do even more.
Yeah, and again, by opening up and having those different conversations, they even realize that they want more and they want to be involved more. They get to know you more personally. They want then you to be involved as an advisor. And again, this is where the conversations come in and they overlap. And this is where bringing somebody in to help see that is very important. And I'll give a couple of examples from my side. I mean, I have partners that do leadership retreats, right? And they've sat on a board around with multiple partners in the group. Everybody thought they were on the same track from a vision perspective. They did an independent survey then, and again, not a huge one, but just a small survey, but everybody got to answer themselves, and they realized that there were partners that were not on board to the same level, and they were actually not super happy with the things that were going on and the changes being made. And again, so the whole leadership retreat changed from a dynamic perspective to be like, okay, well, let's address this now, right? And without having that independent survey go on and actually asking the questions that are a bit awkward to ask, but they asked the questions and they let everybody answer it themselves, not in a group setting. They had a very different result, right? And the same thing from my outsourcing assessments I do. Communication, enormous part of it, where it's about understanding the people, right? And understanding your team. Who needs the extra education? Are they all on the same page or not? If you don't ask them individually, it's very difficult to really know, right? And you can assume a lot of things, but it doesn't help you, right? So can you dig into, let's say, about celebrating those wins a little bit with employees? Like, how can a firm partner that's listening now, if they've got employees, what's one or two small things that they can do in the short term to really help celebrate some of those wins? What are those wins, and what can they do with their employees to do so?
Well, a couple of things I'd like to share with the audience is that every single day and every single chance you have to have an interaction is an opportunity to celebrate with an employee what you're doing and why. And it might take you 35 seconds to say, hey, Charlie, I want to talk to you. The client mentioned that we did a great job on such and such, and you played a big role. And I want to tell you why you did such and such, and you found this and this, that, whatever it is. And that makes a big difference here because the clients trust us. You made a big difference. I thank you for that. Now, that may seem very minor, but that's a big deal. Another thing we think that's really important is to share with employees what is the experience we want to deliver to our clients. The firm I was referencing that we're working with, they're a privately held firm. They have a very personal experience with clients. Clients feel like they're friends with the firm. Clients feel they can call the partner up at their home or wherever. But here's something that is a disconnect. One of their clients said, you know what I hate? I hate the automated responses I get when I send an email. And I go, well, what are you talking about? He goes, I'll send an email at 11 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, I've got a question on blank. And he said, the partner will send back an automated response that says, I'm sorry, I'm meeting with a client right now. I'll call you when I have time. And I said, so what do you dislike? He said, look, I hate that they're with another firm, another client, of course. But he said, what I really hate is a generic response. They shouldn't give me a generic response. They'll get back to me at some point. I just want to talk to them. So Laurence, here's an example. And this is part of what we want to celebrate and explain. This accounting firm's client base takes it personally. So we as a firm, what we want to do is realize they understand if it's going to take us a couple of hours, but let's not send them generic messaging. Let's send them nothing for an hour or two if we're out of office. That's better than something generic because we're not a generic firm. They left the big firms because they were treated like generic clients. Let's not treat them that way. Let's embrace them. So one thing we can do with our firms out there is to express how do we take care of our clients? What do we stand for? And that will help your employees become more inspired. Because you know what? I'm not going to send some kind of an automated response. And I'll throw one little thing in as maybe some of your audience may be thinking this. So when we shared this with the partner group, one of the partners said, well, that's probably my client. And I said, well, actually, it was one of your clients. And he said, well, that means I've got to respond quicker. And I said, no, it doesn't. They did not say you took too long to respond. This is really important for your audience. They said, we don't want a generic response. They did not say, you took days and days to respond. He said, well, I never do. I said, I know. So we have to realize our clients are coming to us for a certain purpose. So not only should we deliver that, but we need to express that to our employees and let them know how meaningful it is.
Yeah, no, 100% agreed. I mean, you have to set the expectations with the clients right up front, right? And again, like you said, it doesn't have to be generic, right? It can be very personalized. And again, if you build the relationship right, they know you're going to get back to them as soon as you can possibly get back to them. If there was something that was super urgent, they're going to probably call you, right? In that sense as well. But they also understand that you can't answer your phone every second of the day, right? Because they're also generally the owners of companies or the CFO and have X amount of things on their plate, right? So, and again, there's always generally somebody else that they can reach out to, right? If they do need to escalate or anything like that. So it doesn't go with everybody, but I completely agree with you that it's those generic responses aren't necessarily the best way. And I think we just have in our mindset that we have to respond as quick as possible to everything, but if you hadn't have asked the question, you wouldn't have realized that it's actually niffing off a few clients, right?
It is.
So that's hilarious. And now, out of interest, so now when we talk to, let's say we're looking at attracting talent to the profession, right? So we're looking at like the grassroots level, but also looking at, again, other professionals that may not be finance professionals or may not specifically be accountants, but other finance professionals, other industries, but we want to bring them into the accounting firm profession, right? What are ways that we can do as a firm to actually highlight that? And where should we be highlighting that in a lot of cases, right? If you can answer that a little bit.
Well, I think one thing we can look at is our websites. So if you look at accounting firms' websites, this is a real good, yeah, it's a mixture. But think about it. Everybody in the audience right now, think of your website. Number one, are there human beings on it? And in many cases, no. There may be hands, there may be a back of somebody, but are there humans? And now I'm going to ask a tougher question. The humans who might be on your website that are being displayed, do they work at your company or are they generic photos of people? Now, that basic question will give you a lot of answers, because if you are the person, Laurence, you're talking about, and you're trying to get into this profession and you're looking around, if I go look at a website and it is feelingless and humanless and cold, I don't want to work at that joint. Now, if I look at that website and I see a diverse range of people and they're actually interacting, and heaven forbid, they're actually having fun, which is shocking, right? Okay. They're actually having fun. I'm going, you know what? This kind of looks like a cool place. So right off the bat, if we want to attract, let's think about this. We may put a really nice ad out there to attract somebody. They go immediately to where? The website. And right there, you're looking at it. And here's an interesting insight. If you're one of the top firms, the huge, gigantic monolith firms, it's hard to show all your people, right? I mean, you got thousands of them in different countries. All right, that's a difficult one. But, you can still show real people instead of generic ones. You can also show real clients, not just somebody climbing a mountain or somebody swimming on near a beach or something. I mean, it's the generic photos are terrible. And if you're that small firm, why not double down on everybody, not just your partners? Show the young people, show your partners with your young people. Show what it's like to work at your firm and make it interesting. Because Laurence, like you said, otherwise, think about who wants to go to an accounting firm that looks cold and feelingless? Nobody.
Yep. No, completely agree. I mean, and now how does that, and again, when we talk about that, that's the first step in a client's experience, realistic client on prospect, you can call them whatever you want, but generally they're going to come to your website first. Maybe you met them somewhere else. But they're going there first to explore who you are, right? So you need to be able to showcase that. And now, so can you highlight, I guess, what that journey should look like for a customer as well? Like, I'm assuming you help with the strategy of, let me outline the whole customer journey and the focus. Like, even from the beginning side of things, like, what should it look like, right? What should they have in their mind? Like, okay, they're going to come to my website. Where are they going next, right? Or where do you want to take them next, realistically? Or what do you want to show?
Well, that's where differentiation comes in. So let's say your firm, like 90% of all accounting firms, does all the basics. Okay, that's great. Don't waste your time, energy, or real estate on your website showing that minutia. Spend as little time on that. But let's say that you have some senior partners that have some amazing brilliance and expertise that could really help small businesses, maybe large, but small businesses in the running of their day-to-day activities. It could be that your firm has some tremendous leaders who understand mergers and acquisitions or understand succession and other business-related needs. That's where you focus that website, because you're going to attract clients. And the bottom line is, if all you say is, look, we're an accounting firm and we do these 75 things that every accounting firm does, you're not standing out. You could say, look, we do all those things. Great. Here's what we do that few others do. And we have this accounting expertise as well as business expertise. And we are an advisory. And this is what we can advise you on and in. So I would recommend you do that. You look for the one or two areas where you're really incredible. For instance, I work with some accounting firms. They only work with privately held companies. Okay, but that's not on their website. They don't say it. Well, if I'm a privately held company, I go on, I'm going, okay, no big deal. If they say, hey, we focus on privately held companies, we do such and such, we offer advisory for these services, all of a sudden you've got me there. I'm going, now, wait a minute. These people are speaking my language. So look for the one or two different differentiators you have and tout those on the website.
Now, and then when you going into firms and we're looking at, okay, now we've gone from the employee side of things, right, and the talent acquisition side of things in terms of trying to attract new talent into the firm. Now let's giving a couple of pieces of advice towards actually attracting new customers, but by, again, utilizing the customers you've had. You gave a great example of a firm you're working with now, right? You're actually bringing some of these, you created an event that you're bringing some of these customers in, and I'm assuming you're going to record certain sessions and you're going to be able to share some of these testimonies. And it's not just going to affect the individuals that are there who have been working on that and the team members, but also they're now going to be able to leverage that, right, and go out and showcase the benefits coming from those owners as to what they've really done. Like, what is the best way to, I guess, start distributing and thinking about those types of things for firms as well, if they're looking to, again, attract new clients, but similar to the ones that they have compared to just anybody?
One of the things I find with accounting firms is many of them don't really try to grow. They're pretty satisfied, which scares me because I'm in the service industry as well. And I have to look to grow every single day of the week. Many of the firms not only feel like it's okay to tread water, but they give that message out to their clientele. So the very first thing I would say is, if you really want to grow, you talk with your clients and you say, hey, what are you needing help in? And it sounds very basic. You do that. Another thing I think is really important is organize activities with a group of clients that are not competitive. So it could be an event. It could be a half dozen people getting together for a lunch to discuss certain topics that are of importance to that client group. It could be these clients are all dealing with succession. Okay, well, great. These half dozen clients can come in with the people that are going to help them with the succession plans. And this accounting firm can then sit there, have lunch, talk about some of the things they've seen that really work over the years with the hundreds of different successions they've seen. So be able to attract groups of clients in small groups that have similar needs. Remember, if it's a manufacturing company and it's a grocery store and something else, they are not in competition. They are very comfortable sitting right next to each other. Use your abilities to help those types of companies to expand your business. I'll tell you, if you want to expand your business, the accounting firms I work with only have to turn to the current clients right now and offer all their clients what they're doing with some of their clients.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's adding services, adding service lines. And again, it's that's the easiest way because they've got the client base, right? And it's generally things that they've chosen not to do because of, again, sometimes it's talent, right? They don't have enough talent in there. So they've chosen not to do certain aspects. But again, that's where once you get the right sources in and you're doing the right things that you can attract talent, now you can offer those things, right? I mean,
right.
It's a great way of doing it. Now, Barry, as we start to wrap up, is there anything else you want to share or are willing to share? Any secret sources that you're willing to share towards the end? And what's the best place as well where people can reach out to if they want to have that conversation, take a step in this direction to help out with it?
Well, Laurence, here's one thing, and you just said something really great, which is you could offer additional product lines. Here's the challenge I want to give to the audience, okay? I don't want you, I'm saying your idea is great, but let's say you don't want to add new product lines. I want you to identify what you are offering to some of your clients and ask yourself, why are we not offering them to all of our clients? As an example, partner A does this and that. Partner B doesn't, but partner B does something different. Partner C does a little bit of both of those. We cannot allow our partners to be solo performers. We need to really leverage the value of our team. You think about our partner teams. So what's interesting is there literally can be two partners at an accounting firm that are doing a lot of consultancy, and there are 6 others that do none. And those clients are going, how come I don't get that? And it's like, well, you could. So that's what I think is my big challenge. And I think it's a secret because you're already offering it. You don't have to spend more money. You're doing it. Now let's start codifying it, turn it into a code. Let's say this is how we do it, and let's offer it. As far as how to reach me, my company's website is Labov, LABOV.com. My personal site is Barry Labov, BARRYLABOV.com. Join me there. We have a book that is being released. It's called The Power of Differentiation. It will be offered on Amazon. It's for small and large companies, service and manufacturers, B2B and B2C, stories of successful companies that discovered what made them unique and then celebrated it internally to win market share.
Perfect. I appreciate it, Barry, and I appreciate you coming on to share a bit of that. And again, everybody, you can also think about Barry as a resource, right? And again, the big thing is having tools on your tool belt. So if you're hearing about even businesses that he works with businesses, he doesn't just work with accounting firms. So that's where, again, you can now bring these types of professionals into outside of your scope. And again, it doesn't take anything to do that, but it adds a lot of value, right? And those advisors, those partners that are doing this type of thing and referring business out to a specific group of people that they can trust is super helpful, right? And it makes you more and more valuable. It means that people come to you first rather than going to anybody else in a different advisor in a different space, right? So, and if you haven't had a chance to pick up our AI CPA Outsourcing Best Practice Toolkit, that's just been released last week. So I'm happy to share a copy with anybody that reaches out, and also go to the AI CPA website and you can get a copy there as well. Okay. And thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the podcast today and look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Business Beyond Borders. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Business Beyond Borders. I'm Laurence Whittam, and it's been a pleasure bringing you impactful insights tailored for the modern CPA firm. Remember, the world of accounting is vast and ever evolving, and we're here to navigate it together. For more resources and episodes, don't forget to subscribe and reach out to our experts. Until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of your business and explore the limitless possibilities beyond borders.